Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and Krysta Rodriguez, just complimenting you on an absolutely hilarious show that you guys have on NBC, Trial and Error. I was telling you I was geeking out over your co-star John Lithgow at the NBC press day last week, and I was just like, I love you.
I geek out over him all the time.
Like, is that what it's like on set? Like, when you're around a legend like that, do you just find yourself saying, like, I can't even do my lines. I love you.
Sometimes what's great is that you kind of forget because you have to forget. Otherwise, you would never be able to work with them. You know, you'd be so nervous. But then they'll do something and you're like, oh, right. You're a legend. You're a legend and I need to step up my game right now. It's amazing.
This show feels like Making a Murderer meets The Office meets Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Like, did I just pretty much summarize it right there?
Perfect. There it is.
What are they going to get when they see Trial and Error?
Just that. They're going to get, they're going to get a ton of laughs. It's so funny. And then I think the thing that's unique about it is there's this added murder mystery aspect, which is also really compelling. It takes some twists and turns and you don't really see where it's going and nobody knows if he's innocent or not. So there's a lot of anticipation for every episode, which I think is exciting and that you don't maybe always get in like your regular comedy or a sitcom where it's like, what's going to happen this week? You're following this through line through the whole season about, this trial and it's fun.
The $1 million question is, did you guys know? Like, do you get the scripts in advance and do you know whether he is guilty or not?
We did not know. They did not tell us. They told John, but they didn't tell the rest of us. And we do get the scripts sort of like a week ahead of time. So we would just devour them, trying to figure out if we could solve the clue, solve the case. But it's really helpful for your character. If you firmly believe he's innocent, which my character does because I play his daughter, who obviously thinks he's, he's hung the moon and he's amazing, and which was easy to play as well. But, if I had any doubt or knew what was really going to happen, I might not play that. Or if somebody really believes he's guilty and maybe has doubt that he did it, they can't play that either. So, we got to just really go full speed ahead on what our opinion was of his innocence.
You've had so much success with Broadway. What is it like when you do a TV show versus the live experience of Broadway? Well,
usually it's very different, but this show is really unique because of the documentary style. It's the cameras are sort of always on you at all times. It's not a normal TV show where you're kind of getting filmed from this side and then filmed from the other side. The cameras are always rolling and it feels more theatrical because it's sort of just documenting your life, a scene of your life, and so rather than just doing your lines. And and to work with John Lithgow, Steve Boyer, Sherry Shepherd, all these people that have been on Broadway who have done things, in theater, it had that mentality of like putting together shows. So this show was way more closely related to theater. Plus we would make each other laugh and make the writers laugh and make the crew laugh. So there was still a lot of gratification that you get from performing in theater. But whereas a drama, you kind of have to wait to see how it all shakes out when it airs.
One of the things that made Parks and Rec so funny was when they would do the close-up with the camera and you would get the face. And you guys are getting the bump. Like, how do you, I've always wondered as an actor, do you know when that's happening? And then do you adjust your face? Like what happens?
No, they are amazing. The people that do the camera work and the DPs and the directors, all of them, a lot of them came from reality or documentary filmmaking. So they know what it's supposed to feel like when you're discovering something for the first time, when you don't have setups, And so they watch the scene, see our reactions, know when it would be important to zoom in or see something on the table or whatever. And it just happens to be hilarious when it works. So they're the ones really curating that experience. We don't really know. They might tell us, hey, we're bumping in on this part. Make sure that, you don't have hair in your face or something, But mostly it's kind of us playing it out and them discovering as the audience discovers what is amiss or funny or interesting about the scene.
How do you know when something's funny? Comedy's hard. People don't realize that. How do you know? Are you on set and a moment happens and you're like, this is going to work on television, or do you have no idea?
I don't know. I guess I would like to say that I do know, but I'm not sure that I do because it's really up to the writers and the filmmakers to really put something on paper that is going to work. And then we work it out and say, okay, this joke we'll have the writers on set all the time throwing alternate lines. And so that way, when we're putting together our confessionals or things where we're alone with the camera, they can sort of use alternate emotions or things to make it happen. So sometimes you're like, I think this is funny, but this might be so outlandish when it gets put together with everything. This might not work. So then we have sort of a more tame option, or the reverse, where we're like, let's just throw something crazy in there. So, yeah.
One of the things that I think you're amazing with is your breast cancer advocacy. And obviously,
Thanks.
You have such a fascinating story, having been discovered with stage 3 at such a young age. I was looking over this blog you have right now, which I think is so amazing. And the word brave is thrown around so much, but to actually put yourself out there when you're going through chemo, I think is really brave, especially as an actress or an actor. Talk to me about being an advocate for breast cancer awareness. I think it's just amazing.
Well, thank you. No one wants to be an advocate for something,
right.
But it's really interesting. As soon as I was diagnosed, you get this feeling of like, I have to do something with this. I have to make something good out of this bad thing that's happening to me. And you feel this sense of urgency, of advocacy, but then you're also so tired and you're fighting yourself, so to try to like think about the more global importance is sort of, it's almost too much to think of at that moment. And so for me, the easiest thing I could do while I was sitting with my feet up recovering was to write and to talk about it. And I have always loved fashion. I always enjoy like experimenting with styles and different trends. And so it seemed like a fun thing for me to do. Really, it was just for me.
Chemo Couture.
Chemo Couture. It was a fashion blog for me, basically me going through cancer, giving tips to young women, because more and more women who are getting it are younger and are sort of in the throes of their lives. And because the rate of recovery is getting higher, people are having this as more of a moment in their lives before the rest of their lives rather than the end of their lives. And so to kind of have that idea that there's life beyond this and to continue living as you did before, or have it a way to shake up your regular routine. And so it was really for me to like turn ugly things into beautiful things, and it resonated with people, and that was really great. And I didn't realize how important it was going to be for me and how many people were going to relate and want to talk about it and share their stories. And we all just felt less alone, and that is really how it starts. The intention is never to be brave. It's to get this off of your chest and to speak to somebody and find somebody else that agrees and believes, and then, feel community and bond.
The feedback you've gotten must have been just...
It was really inspiring.
It must have been purposeful. Must have made you feel purposeful, right?
Well, yeah, and it made me feel like I wasn't alone. It made me feel like the scary thing about sharing almost everything about you, very personal, very intimate details of yourself. If it can help somebody, then it's worth it, and it's a weird thing that so many people know so many things about, my body parts, but, that's
an interesting way of putting
it's like, it's usually something you don't talk about that much. Now all my friends are like, let me see, it's like every conversation is about my breasts now, which you never expect to happen. So it can be a weird thing to start talking about that and be open about it. But when people, when it helps people, or when they start to feel less anxious about their own thing because of what I went through, then it was worth it.
I think you're awesome. Congratulations on a really great show.
Thanks.
Everybody make sure to check out Trial and Error on NBC.